Hello, welcome to the Daily Political Tarot and Astrology here on the Black and Orange channel. Thank you for being here. It's Bonus Arrow Saturday. Woo-hoo-hoo. And any day that Sarah's here is a good day.
Thank you.
We've got a whole lot of important stuff going on today. From the important to the we'll get there. I just wanted to say thank you for being here. I'm here literally every single day of the year to take your political questions out of the chat. Just leave your questions in the chat before I come on. We have epic troll slayers who have kept us safe for years. Thank you. And we have got a fantastic community because you have been so kind to each other and so kind to us. Thank you. And if you're watching on replay, hello. You can go down in the description box. All the questions are listed there. Miss Sarah will be kind enough to do timestamping today. So you can pick and choose what you're interested in, or you can watch back on a higher speed, whatever works for you. All right. You were just saying, before we get into the serious stuff, Sarah, just before I hit the button, Sarah said something. What did you say, my friend?
Apparently, Dean Cain is walking around with his arm in a sling. Now, I don't know how this happened.
Because there have been videos of him on the obstacle courses.
That obstacle course whooped his batootie.
And
it was his kryptonite.
Because I was watching him on that, and I was like, I couldn't do better.
Oh, no.
I couldn't do better, but I wouldn't go out for that job. And I wouldn't go out for that job, especially if the world knew me best as Superman.
I'm gonna super sit down for this one, but you know,
he had, let's just say, he had some super lead in his shoes or something, because watching him try to get over that half wall and
yeah.
Who is at my front door?
It's not me. I don't think it's Bailey either.
Okay. No.
Nor housing. No.
Anyway. So, but he wanted to be a part of ICE. And I've already said that.
And now he needs icy hot. Yes.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yeah.
Sorry.
And he's not. No, that was great. And he also doesn't realize how old he is. He's not accepted his age.
And then he's in his. Now, there's nothing wrong. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with being in your 50s at all. But this man is well into his 50s, running around acting like he's in his 20s, and posing with his little arm in the sling, making little duck lips. Sir, sit your pleated khaki butt down. This is not for you. No, sir.
Oh, thank you, Amy. Gifted 5 memberships to random people in the chat. Thank you.
It's very sweet.
Sarah definitely wins the internet today. Yeah. Actually, I just, for what it's worth, I did a reading on him and joining ICE. And basically, will they let him through? Yes. But he's going to get disillusioned pretty quickly when he's, because they can try to make him the face of things all they want to, but when he's putting handcuffs on kids, teenagers, and he's separating families and all that, it's suddenly the rah gung-ho is going to be like, oh, reality? What is that?
Right.
Yeah.
AJ, anyway. You were correct. Some 50-year-olds wouldn't have a problem with that course. And I want to clarify, because there's always going to be comments if I don't. So let me just say, there are many, many 50, 60, and 70-year-olds who could run laps. Trust me. Yeah. Around my 20-year-old. Yes. But for someone who, again,
on average.
Right. For someone who has not kept up his Lois and Clark workout schedule since he was on Lois and Clark a bit ago,
Yeah. Mimi's saying Dean is more like Superman.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, that was that. But but I've already read on him. So we need to go on to 5 minutes 30 seconds. We need to move on to the question of the day. You might have to take one off to get it closer to the camera. Yeah, Sarah has
season.
It's almost spooky season, so Sarah has some skeleton earrings going. And the background today, if you have not worked it out, is measuring drapes. Measuring gold drapes, something that basically is Shady Vance's favorite pastime at the moment. So, yeah. So, yeah. So I came on this morning and Sarah had seen things on social media that I don't know how I missed last night. But apparently last night, what was happening was that the social media went boom, saying my favorite quote was, "He dead."
Are you going to show some of the memes?
Absolutely. Shall we look at some of the memes?
Yeah.
Because there was talk that where's Gowron? Okay, I'll skip that one. That was good though.
All right. So up until this morning, Trump had not been seen since Tuesday.
Yeah.
And Vance has made posts about his on-the-job training over the last 200 days. The Pentagon Pizza Index spiked last night.
That's a big one.
And the internet was once again undefeated in memes. So before we go on, let's check in with that part. Yes.
Yeah. So the memes that, yeah. That's the best Nazi Ferratu's ever looked. Or that's the best Shady Vance has ever looked. I'm trying to remember which way this goes.
You're good. Worst case scenario, you show Garon. So, it's okay.
Where's the... No. Sorry.
Stop. You're good. You're good. Other than that was all.
Yeah, it's just weird. Why can't I see anything? Sorry about that.
You're good.
Okay, I found it. Okay. Here we go. Sorry, technical difficulties. On big news days, it can be a little challenging to do this. All right. So here we have, weekend at Mar-a-Lago. Then we had my favorite quote.
He did.
Y'all, angry staffer, y'all still at it? I haven't seen the timeline this united since, well, ever. And the Pentagon's pizza tracker's going crazy. Usually when the pizza tracker goes crazy, that means that there is something going on and the people at the Pentagon are doing a late night. So now, I don't know how Pizza Tracker gets this information. Honestly, it might be being volunteered. It might not. I don't know. But according to this, there was a 143% spike at Domino's, a 476% spike at District Pizza Palace, 233% spike at Pizzato Pizza, and Papa John's had a 217% spike, which also tells you what the favorite pizza spots are. Just saying. Much busier than usual. There's another version, and that is my favorite picture of Shady Vance. Yeah, that's a good one.
Chris Cole is asking what a pizza tracker is.
It's they're keeping an eye on the amount of pizza that the Pentagon is ordering that are going to be delivered to the Pentagon, because the night before, usually some kind of attack or operation or something big happening, they keep people there and they order in pizza. So it's become a kind of a known thing that when the pizza places around the Pentagon, when their orders spike, that there's something going on.
Yeah, there's two things in this country, two official, unofficial, not really official, but two unofficial measurements that when something's up. That's the pizza tracker, excuse me, and the Waffle House Index.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if Waffle Houses are shut down, the weather is bad, and when the pizza tracker by the Pentagon, something is amiss.
Yeah. This is all of us. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What an odd thing to say.
Yeah, indeed. Huh. I like this one. I like this one a lot. Yeah. Yeah. This is good. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Anyway. All right. And allegedly, this is him. This is the one picture I've seen of him from this morning. However, here's the thing, and I know it's kind of hard to see because I can't really zoom in very well, but he looks terrible.
The next picture is zoomed in. Oh,
what?
Wait, no. I thought the next one was zoomed in. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. This was trending on X. Trump is dead. Trump died. It happened. Anakin? What?
Barely, it was Anakin.
What? The sand from the sand trap. It gets everywhere. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Is he? Maybe he's just depressed by all the SNL news. And Pearlmania 500, buying an American flag and a flagpole just so I can fly it at full mast when they announce it. Yeah. All right. So.
I'm sorry about that. I had you move off that other picture. I thought I had a more zoomed in one. Or that might have been a more zoomed in one.
You're good.
Yes, Visualize 70. Anakin Skywalker. I don't know what the related posts about Anakin Skywalker were.
No.
But, I mean, do we need to know? The internet is the internet. So.
Yeah. So I pulled cards earlier. And I pulled a bunch of cards. And I'm going to tell you what it said. Now, because when I pull these cards, I don't think we'd even seen that photograph yet.
No. All we know is he hadn't been seen. He canceled at Bedminster. All
right. So I pulled some cards, and let me separate these out a little bit. And basically, the first thing I got, the card for the reading, was Vance measuring the drapes. That's why I've got this background, because that was the first card that came out. The government, institutions, some decisions have to be made. There is absolutely some obfuscation going on. Absolutely. He looks terrible. There is some judgment going on, and he's on very shaky ground. But I wasn't getting that he was no longer with us. He's on very shaky ground, but his feet and his little cankles are still touching the ground, just barely. So not good. So I was looking for some clarification. And I pulled some other cards. All right. There's the MAGA base. And I really don't want anything to happen to this man, because the Saint Donald glossing over what a disgusting blankety blank that man is ick. But
the yuckiest of do's.
Yes, the yuckiest of do's.
Yes.
but dare I say, some cosmic balance about devil energy. And while I don't think he's actually going to do this, this is not only my card from Mar-a-Lago, but this is traditionally a card of vacation or retirement, or in this case, golfing. Not good. So I was trying to see what else I could find out. And boy, in Congress, they are really.
Let's have a big tea today, y'all.
There you go. Let's have a hypothetical discussion about what happens when a president dies.
Catherine, thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Thank you.
Catherine, thank you. Gifted 50 memberships to random people in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So sweet.
Thank you. See, it's just this lovely energy, and I'm so grateful. And then it's like, okay, I need to go back down to this muck.
Sorry.
No, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. In Congress, it's very much a, famously, after JFK died, Jackie sent aides up into the attic of the White House with flashlights to find out information about the funeral of Abraham Lincoln. And this feels like okay, what do we do? Do we stand? This is the card for the last set of cards. This is the card for the reading, or the last set of cards in the reading. And it's like what do we do? And it's a little bit performative. I've got, he's hemmed in. He's hemmed in. And if you try to look at that video, or sorry, that picture of him, yes, his suit shirts have been holding in a little bit, but if you look at that Getty image, his neck starts coming out from right here, just randomly out, like there was like structural collapse. It's bad. These are the Vultures. These are the Vance, Speaker Mikey the Heretic. These are all the people who were standing over his deathbed, waiting. And just for what's going to happen in the future. I'm not saying Vance is going to be great, because he's not, but that's quite a bit of happiness.
For the record, I don't want him dead. I want his presidency dead.
Yes.
I want the administration itself, not the people in the administration. I would just like his administration to cease to be.
We want him and his ilk out of power.
Yes.
That's what we want, but we don't know. One, because it's just not good to wish that on anybody. It's not the right thing to do. But also, you just turn him into a martyr. Yeah.
But no, he looks horrible. And then from what I understand, some video has come out of them walking. I haven't seen it either, but I think Hal mentioned it briefly. There's a slight bit of video that has come out that he looks. So they have pumped him full of something to get him moving. And
I would guess steroids.
Steroids and some form of something speedy, something to get him, because there's not going to be many videos or pictures of him actually putting today. There's just not. And I don't want anybody to feel physical pain.
Right.
I would, I'd be okay if he just sat with all of if he was able to feel the guilt of the pain he's inflicted in others. He could wallow in that all day long. Because that's reaping what you sow and getting what you deserve. So, because I don't want that karmic thing back on me. So I'm not going to wish physical pain on anybody because I don't like it myself. But he's formaldehyde. They have pumped him full of something. So, all right. Whew.
Now there is
y'all aren't bad people. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That doesn't make y'all bad people. To each
No.
their own. Look, I'm just saying for myself because karma likes to just smack me around sometimes. So I'm talking about for myself. I'm not wishing anything. I'm not talking bad about anybody else.
Thank you so much, Acadian Proud. Wanted to let you know I saw a video on Facebook of 2 bald eagles flying near a flagpole that had the Canadian flag and the Nova Scotia flag. Even the eagles are leaving the U.S.
That's awesome. Thank you for an hysterical. They're like deuces.
Yes. No. And okay, the other thing you have to understand is I'm in this energy all day. Sorry, I'm in this energy every day. 5.5 years I've been in this energy for at least like half the day. I can't let my energy go below a certain point or I'm not going to be able to climb back out. So, and on the channel, I try to keep things as positive as I can because we're trying to keep the energy up. So if you are wishing one of an adjudicated R word who has defrauded and destroyed lives and hurt innumerable children, if you are wishing them to no longer be breathing oxygen, I'm not holding that against you at all. You do you, because so please don't think we're saying you're a bad person. No. So anyway, here's something interesting astrologically.
Ooh.
We've got some eclipses coming up next month that are I want to say the September 7th lunar eclipse will be at 15 Pisces and the September 21st solar eclipse will be at 29 Virgo. So we will have to keep an eye on those because I don't know if he was born. I don't know if he was born on an eclipse, but it may have been a partial or something because he's got his sun opposite his moon, and the north node is really close to that sun, and that's usually an eclipse. So if he wasn't born on an eclipse, it was probably a partial or something. And there is something traditionally, anecdotally, to that you come in on an eclipse, you go out on an eclipse. For what it's worth, it's an old kind of wives' tale, but that's in astrology. That's what they say. But something did happen yesterday that is going to be affecting us for a long time. And it's going to take me a minute to explain what it is. So this might be a different thing. So it maybe starting back at 23.
Okay.
Talking about the astrology of this.
Okay.
He was born during an eclipse. Thank you, Angie. So Amy says, why the backdrop of a ruler? Are we measuring how long Dumpy has left? No, it's Vance measuring the curtains in the Oval Office. That's what that is. Okay. There is, all right, dun-dun-dun. Here we go. This is the solar system. And you're looking down at the top of the solar system. Because if you turn the solar system sideways, you have the sun in the middle, and then you have planets at different distances from the center, right? And this is the plane of the solar system, right? And when we teach this to children, or you see a simplified version of it, it pretty much looks like that, where everything's pretty tightly on the same deal. Okay. However, it isn't quite as exact as this, because the orbits are not perfectly circular and they are not perfectly on the same plane. There's a little bit of a tilt here or there. So we'll have one planet that actually goes a little above or a little below the plane of the solar system. And that can happen to any of the planets. It's especially pronounced with something like Pluto, which doesn't have a regular orbit in it of itself, because it's got this oval orbit, and it's at an angle. So, like in 1999, Pluto came closer to us than Neptune. Which happens, but then it's moved on.
Okay.
And so what's happening now is, because Pluto has this really strong lean, try to make this as simple as I can. Pluto has reached a point of what's called being out of bounds. And what out of bounds means is that it's gone above or below what is an acceptable normal number of degrees above or below the ecliptic, which is this. And when a planet is gone too high or too low or whatever it is, it's called out of bounds, and it's considered a renegade because it is off the hook. And it is very powerful. And it's if you think about it, we're getting the energy from it. If you picture, like, we're getting energy from the planets, for lack of a better way to put it, there's nothing getting in its way. Because if you have Neptune over here, even if there's you can see a straight shot to here, there's still all the interference from all these other planets in this same thing. But when you start getting something up here, there's nothing. It's just boom, really strong energy. And Pluto right now is so far out of bounds that there are people who've looked into this who are saying it is more out of bounds than it has ever been, like, in our history. And that it has gone out of bounds before. And I'll have to do more research. I don't want to say this is absolutely true. It might be something that people are just repeating. I want to throw this out there as a possibility. It's possible the other times it was strongly out of bounds was the Civil War and World War II. Maybe. I will do more. That's what I'm hearing. I will do more research on that. But the point is that Lou says I'm under the sheets. No, you're okay. But Pluto's going to be out of bounds until the 2040s.
So somebody needs to turn on the carport light and tell them that, it's curfew. Time to come home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there are some astrologers who are until not the 19. I meant the 2040s. I may have said the 1940s. Did I say the 20? Sorry,
2040s. You said
2040s. Okay. It's also Pluto's also in Aquarius until the 2040s. So it's not only in Aquarius, the sign it definitely was in during the American Revolution and all of the French Revolution. But now it is out of bounds. And it's like, okay, now this doesn't mean that it's guaranteed. It's absolutely guaranteed that these heinous things are going to happen. We've talked about this, that we live in a sea of energy and there are currents that come through. You don't have to participate.
Right.
And if there's a really nasty current coming through, it's kind of like, I describe it like we're all in our little individual deep sea vessels.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you do is you gather together the other vessels around you, and you all get together and you find a nice like solid rock or overhang or something, and you pull everybody in, and you just kind of be nice to each other and hang out while these heavy duty currents come through. And then once things are quieted down a little bit, then you can start venturing out more than normal. But there are times to be out exploring and doing, and there are times to kind of pull things together and just kind of be a little more cautious and just take care of the people around you. Doesn't mean absolutely no. So I like that, Minx. It's 10 o'clock at night. Do you know where Pluto is? I love that. So, so will life be out of bounds for the rest? Was it Pluto or? So it will be out of bounds for the rest of my life. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Rover, Red Rover, let Pluto come over. Yes.
Yeah. So, but because of its orbit, this is just what it's doing. So, we've talked about Pluto's effect, and when it changes signs, it changes. It kicks up all the energy of that sign, and that's what we live in.
Mm-hmm.
In 1914, Pluto entered Cancer. Cancer is the sign of home, mom, apple pie, this kind of motherly energy, but also motherland, patriotism. And Pluto went into Cancer in 1914 and put all of that to the test when it kicked up all that energy. And it's like, okay, well, good. It'll change signs again. It'll go into Leo, which is the sign of autocrats and kings. So Pluto went into Leo in 1939. So it's like, okay, it'll go into another sign. It'll be better. Kind of. It went into Virgo in 1956. Cold War. And then it went into Libra in 1971. And this is rough. It retrogrades back and forth. But the upshot is in like 1971, it went into Libra. And Libra is a sign of relationships. So you have these people who were born with Pluto and Libra from like 71 to 83-ish, 4-ish, 83-ish, who you get the latchkey kids who were home alone. You had a rise in divorce.
Yeah.
So everything to do with relationships just got, and that's when Roe v. Wade passed as well, because it wasn't all bad. It wasn't all abandonment, but it all of those bonds with the other, it just went,
yeah,
okay, let's really examine this. Now I love this. 1984, Pluto went into Scorpio. Might have been 83, but basically think of it as 1984. Pluto rules Scorpio, and Scorpio is Pluto is the god of the underworld. So if you think of Scorpio as I describe it as like a film noir.
Okay.
Scorpio is like the film noir. And Pluto, when it's home, because any planet that goes to its own sign, it tends to just hang out in its sweatpants and just let it all hang out, And it's like, oh, could you please just calm down? It went, and because Scorpio is about that moment of between life and death, rebirth, physical intimacy, what's really going on underneath, the darker motivations. You had the book, and I think it's interesting, written in the 1940s about an authoritarian state, one of our most famous books about authoritarian states. And What year did Orwell set it in?
84.
1984. And by 1987, you had Gordon Gekko saying greed is good. Scorpio. Unchecked Scorpio, Pluto energy. So it's like, okay, is it going to change signs? And this is the thing. It's like you go through your whole life going, please let it change signs. Please let it change signs. Because at least then you get different problems.
Right.
So so it's like, okay, it'll change signs. It'll change signs again. This will be great. So around 1994, 95, it changed signs into Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is big. It's ruled by Jupiter. And it's about world travel and opening your mind and higher wisdom and higher education, and can be a little flighty. And let's face it, it's the biggest gas giant in our solar system. Can be a little bit of a blowhard, can promise a little more than it can deliver. But right around 1994, what happened? We had computers, but right around that time, we had the World Wide Web.
WWW. Yep.
And that is Sagittarius to Core. And it also created two different bubbles, big bubbles, because Jupiter expanding, expansive. So, okay, so we're there. And by the end, by 2008, it's like, okay, it's going to change signs again. All right, we won't have these bubbles. We won't have, okay, this will be great. And in 2008, it changed signs into Capricorn, which is the sign of status, of the aristocracy, workaholism, elegance. I have a real weakness for Capricorns. Elegance, lovely, ruled by Saturn. At least there's some kind of, they place some limits on themselves, which is nice after, being, ear deep in Jupiter. Okay?
Yes. No, I was checking it. I was looking at the chat.
No.
Sorry.
No. You go. And I'm going on and on.
No, you're good.
So in 2008, what is the one thing that is kind of the biggest signal for the average person that you've made it? You buy a house. So Pluto entered Capricorn in 2008, and what happened? The housing market went, oof.
Oh yeah.
And then we got, so then we got, what's the one person who most deserves to be president, but who wouldn't be because of these traditional stupid rules about hierarchy? Barack, come here. And then after that, who is the one person who least deserves to be president? Who would be the worst president? But because of the system of hierarchy we have in this country, could actually get there on paper. Oh, rich white man, successful, blonde.
Right.
Donald, come here. And then we just had Pluto go into Aquarius. So when Pluto's going about its business, we don't have to be in the middle of the mess, but sometimes we have to at least say, okay, we have our own little vessels, our own little tiny, canoes on the water, whatever it is. But times it's like, okay, it's going to get a little bumpy. So, okay.
Make sure your tray tables are in the upright position.
Yes.
Yes.
Who said that?
No, oh no, I said that.
Just you? Yeah. All right. So I know I've gone through some of this before, but I just want to let you know that Pluto it is small but mighty.
It's still mad that we said it wasn't a planet.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
And
it's
they're
like, why should I come home? You don't respect me. Why should I be there?
exactly.
So yeah.
It's done. It's Pat Benatar love is a battlefield. Just
My daughter watching that video because you know that they do the group dance, and she's like, "What kind of hive mind just has all these girls just doing the group shimmy? Like they just randomly just like what? What? We are Borg. What is this? I don't."
and why of all the things you're standing up for yourself as a woman, why this? Why?
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
That's the one thing. It was like, hang on.
The group shimmy. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
so
goodness.
James says they're guessing when Trump will pop his clogs. Who is they? So just want to know. I just want to know. Anyway, so
Combat dancing. Visualize 70 says it was combat dancing. There you go.
Well, it says because it was the 80s and it was a giant fever dream. I can't.
It was something. It was something. Whew.
Yeah. Yeah. Shake what your mama gave you. Left, right, and back, back. Yes, Melissa. Exactly. Ski Whiff. I love that song. So on comments and Midas Touch. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, James. So I wanted to let you know what's happening because this is kind of a big deal. And this is going to be affecting us for a while.
Yeah.
So we're getting a lot of, it doesn't mean that, we're doomed. No. I mean, even with the Depression and World War II, they got out of it.
Right. Well, it's like, tornado watches versus warnings, right? So we're living in a watch. That means we have all the ingredients for cake. That does not mean that somebody's going to bake the cake. It just means there's the ingredients for cake. You could turn around and use those ingredients to make something else, and that's perfectly fine. But the ingredients are on the counter for cake. So you plan accordingly. You make sure that your shelter, metaphorical shelter, is as, you prep yourself the best that you can on whatever fronts that you can.
Absolutely. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Lewis says now he wants cake. I know.
There we go. TJ says, thank you, we'll batten down the hatches. And that's kind of what we're going into. So the next thing I'm going to pull cards, then we would go on to, I know we have a lot of questions, but I'm afraid a bunch of them are going to have to roll over to tomorrow. And we can talk about this more during Patreon tonight, by the way. Anybody who wants to talk about this, the last Saturday of every month at 7 p.m. Central Time, if you join Patreon, and it's not expensive. It's really not. And you could even just join for 1 month and then cancel. Links in the description, but you can come on screen. It's at 7 o'clock. I can have up to 9 people with me on screen. And then other people just want to hang out in the chat. And you can put faces to names of you seen in the chat. And we have discussions. It's not just me. People talk, they ask questions, they have things that they want to contribute to the discussion, their own knowledge. So we have this great discussion for like an hour and a half on the last Saturday of every month, starting at 7 p.m. and that's tonight. So down in the description box, you can join there. There we go.
So what was the other thing that you wanted to read on?
Oh, so what we need to look at is, we know that the vultures are circling. But vultures can circle all they want. If we're going to mix a metaphor here. It doesn't matter if you've got a cult of personality. So while they may be, or you can watch it, it'll be recorded. So just so you know, you even if you can't be there, you can watch it later. Anyway, the
vultures are circling and clashing with the cult of personality.
Yeah, I know it's horrible metaphors, but
no, you're good.
There's talk about Vance not being Mr. Charisma. not being able to really take over and lead MAGA the way he wants to. And the fact is, I don't think he's going to try, because I don't think he's in that. I don't think he's in that group. I don't think he wants to be in that group. He's in with the Nerd Reich.
Yeah.
And
yeah, he's more Thiel than Trump.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Back here. Thank you, Jasmine. That's very sweet. Susan said, did you decide to do the prepper organization videos? Oh gosh, there's so much I have to do. Yeah, true, Jan. Peter Thiel is the only reason JD is VP, and he is a nasty piece of work. And thank you so much to Kirsten Langston for coming on Thursday, because we read on this, and what a nasty piece of work Peter Thiel is. So I feel like I need to ask, will there be a relatively stable jump on the right from MAGA to the Nerd Reich? They don't call themselves that, but I didn't make that up. That's what people in Silicon Valley were calling it, calling that group of elites, those horrible authoritarian wannabes. So will it be a stable? Well, first of all, they're going to be, this isn't, look, when the UK, when they change monarchs, everybody knows there's been succession since 1066. In 2066, England, UK, whatever you want to think about it, however way you want to put it, has been a country for 1,000 years. And I know China and Japan are like, that's adorable. I know. Look, I'm just saying.
Right.
1,000 years. We are about to celebrate 250.
Mm-hmm. We're just a baby.
Just a little bit. And so when Queen Elizabeth was getting sick, there wasn't a question of what happens now. Everybody knew what would happen.
Yes.
And they had some idea, it's not like they didn't know who Charles was. Who's this guy? So when you have authoritarians like these groups of people who are in charge right now, and one is leaving, it's not exactly
right
what you think. And what I've got here is the first thing, for some reason, I have them rallying around the memory of the Orange Furor, of MAGA rallying around that, with tears in their eyes, sir, we miss you, that kind of
the halcyon days of, yeah.
Ugh. And you've got Vance there, who should be able to step into the role, but he and the other MAGA members, they're just kind of, he's trying to puff himself up, trying to peacock his way through into this role. But MAGA's, this man can't order donuts.
They tolerate him.
Yeah.
They do not like him. They tolerate him.
Yeah. And because first of all, prices were going up. So unless he very quickly is able to somehow change the policies that will make the average MAGA person's life better, bring down prices, all this kind of stuff. Unless he's willing to do that, give people more rights, he's going to end up hemmed in. Plus the fact that's also, he hates women.
Oh yeah.
This guy is walking mommy issues. He despises women. And I know there's this talk about, but his wife. Because these people can compartmentalize like nobody's business. Take Usha, put her aside for a moment. Look at everything else Shady Vance has said about women. He's telling you exactly who he is.
Believe him.
Believe him. If you're trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because of his wife, do not. And believe me, there are people who can compartmentalize that much. They can have affairs and not even twig.
Joy says, does Thiel know how to order donuts? Thiel would do it online or send somebody else to do it for him.
Yeah. He thinks he is so above other people. And there are scientific research. I sent you an article the other day where they were going back through the science that's been done on how wealth and privilege warps your actions and your personality unless you understand what's going on and you actively combat against that. And these people have just embraced it.
Oh yeah.
Thiel he has zero empathy. He is a scary human being. And he thinks we are ants. We are little whatever out there beneath him. Thiel. Have anybody seen the movie Metropolis? The old black and white movie?
A million years ago, yeah.
Yeah, where you have the ultra rich, spoiled boys in the sunlight and the penthouse and then you have the workers all hunched down and abused and having to walk in unison. Thiel thinks he lives in Metropolis.
Yeah. Thinks Atlas Shrugged was a playbook.
Yeah. And he's right there. That's not Vance. That's Thiel. That's why I started talking so much about him. And so, yeah, I mean, MAGA's like, all right, well, you're in charge now, Vance, whenever it happens. Okay, we're waiting for our ship to come in. Come on. He might have a couple of policies that would change from Trump. And he, of course, they all despise any sense of democracy. And this is the kind of thing that starts worrying me. Because that's the thing about Pluto and Aquarius. Aquarius, we love Aquarians. We love our Aquarians. But there's this rebellious nature and this sense of community and not suffering authoritarian fools lightly.
There's a reason when I turned 18, I registered as a libertarian.
Right.
Yeah.
You believe in a lot of the democratic policies.
Yes. But
do not fence her in.
No. Oh, nay. No.
No. Do not fence Miss Sarah in.
And what I do is not your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
what you do ain't my business either. So
yeah. But there is this don't fence me in, don't tread on me, but also a sense of community.
Yes.
It's not Aries where it's me. No. This is collective.
Right.
That's why that's where you get the big charities giving equally to each, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And the revolution. But here's the thing. Aquarius, like Scorpio, it's one of the fixed signs. So and it's thinking outside the box. So when an authoritarian, usually left over from Capricorn, is trying to dominate, that Aquarian energy is like, get your boot off my neck right now.
Yeah.
And is not going to give an inch. And that's why when you get the authoritarians who think they have power, and then you have the Aquarian energy saying, we're not moving, that's where you get the conflicts. That's how you get the French Revolution. The American Revolution actually started at the end of Pluto in Capricorn, but most of it took place at Pluto in Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Bernie, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, which can be unpredictable. So,
yeah, we're very much, oh, you're a fascist. That's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute. Yeah.
But they're looking down on the plebes. Us plebes. There he is. It could be Vance. It doesn't feel like Vance. It feels like Vance and. But there's the burden. There's the MAGA burden, and the burden that these jerks are trying to put on us, but also disappointment, because we're not going to put up with it. We don't roll over and say, yes, sir, whatever you say, sir. No. Yeah, tears in our eyes. No. Mm-hmm. No. So they'll try, but this feels very much like it's not going to be, oh, he's not going to be able to take over MAGA. I don't think he's technically trying. I think he's in that we're going to have a shadow president, and that's Peter Thiel whispering in the ear of J.D. Vance, and has been for decades, who is saying those people are beneath you. And he has zero charisma.
Yeah. No riz, negative aura.
Yeah. No riz, negative aura. There we go.
Negative aura.
So, is this transition going to, it's not going to help us. And Peter Thiel doesn't like women either. Just throwing that out there. He thinks men are superior in every way. So, what about Stephen Miller? Oh, people like that always find some think tank. If he's not kept on, which he could be, there's always some think tank or some heinous, nasty place that will always make a place for someone as awful as he is. It's going to be about the money. It's going to be about technology. There will be a shift. I don't know why I'm getting, it's probably an oversimplification, but it's like I'm getting a different color. So instead of the red orange, suddenly I'm in like gray. It feels like the silvery gray of Aquarius, of technology and money. So gold and silver. Hem in those women, those pesky women, fruits of labor, those who have the money make the rules. People are very. This is this page. He's 100. Look at it. He's 100 feet tall. Look at the trees. Look at the ground around him. Yeah. He thinks he's all that. And then aggressively, and again, I'm getting the gray. I'm getting the technology, aggressive technology. And we already know that Planeteer, was it, got hold of all kinds of, or there's a lot of government information that Doge got out into the world, and Thiel owns Planeteer, which is rumored to have gotten a lot of it. That's what we're going into. And we just have to stand our ground and say what's right and what's not. And that, no, we're not just going to sit quietly against going from one authoritarian regime to another kind.
Right.
So we are going to make it through this, because if you are trying to be an authoritarian during Pluto in Aquarius, you're not coming out the other side in charge.
No.
If you weren't in charge under Capricorn, and you should have just stayed in Capricorn. They love the hierarchy, the traditionally, and you know how much I love Capricorns. I have a weakness for Capricorn. But is it a Duke? No, the Duke is right under the Prince, which is, and then if there's yes, you can have the Viscount, and you can have, that is total Capricorn. And Aquarius is like, no.
Nope.
Scrappy anonymous revolutionary here, in my metaphorical musket, and so all right, so that took up the whole time, so I've got a lot of questions I'm going to roll over for tomorrow, but I wanted you to know what was going on and to understand what's going on astrologically, so that you are, forewarned is forearmed.
Yes.
Knowing, maybe it just be my Scorpio nature, but I always want to know what's really going on behind the scenes, under the rocks, what's happening back there, because that will affect us. So, all right. That will do it for today. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And it is 1:17 p.m. here in Chicago and down in Shreveport.
Yes.
At 3 o'clock, we'll be over on the Creative Sprints channel to just be creative. So, and you're always welcome. Links in the description. It's completely free. We're there every day. And we're just being productive, and we just want to encourage you on whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. It doesn't have to be an art project. It can be whatever you want to get done. We just want to encourage you. All right, and then at 7 o'clock Central Time this evening, Patreon, monthly Patreon, we're going to get together. We're going to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. We're going to cover a lot of this. We're going to cover related things, whatever you want to talk about. That's what we're going to talk about.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's tonight at 7 p.m. And other than that, I'll see you right back here tomorrow, because I'm here every single day. And I have been for over 5.5 years. Every weekday, weekend, holiday, your birthday, my birthday, I'm here. And so is this great community. So you're always welcome here. You're always welcome here. You're always welcome at Creative Sprints. Totally free. Yep. All right. Hang in there. You're not alone. We're in this together. And there are good days ahead. There are.
Yes.
All right. So take care, and I'll see you later, as always. All right. Okay.